Hi guys, I'm Lily. Welcome back to my studio. Today I wanted to talk about how color theory and this really simple rule elevated this painting of mine and my work in general just to a completely new level. I was working on this commission of this beautiful old truck, and we wanted to make it at sunset. And as I worked, we loved the sunset. I started on the sky first, which is oftentimes how I do it. I approach each painting differently, but there are many times where I want to get the sky out of the way first. So I created this beautiful sunset. The client and I both loved it, but once I got to the truck, which was actually the whole point of the painting, it just wasn't really working. And to be honest, it took me a little time to figure out why. And I had to sit with this painting. Luckily, my client was very understanding of my process. Here you can see that I'm working on the truck, and this is where I'm sort of noticing that it was just going to blend right into that gravel and sand background. And I'm thinking as I'm going, like, oh my gosh, I'm loving this truck so much. How do I save it from just completely blending in? And to be honest, it took me a few weeks of sitting with it, and that's okay, as long as you're not on a real time crunch. But even so, sometimes these things happen, and what it took for me was really sitting with it. And sometimes the answer is so obvious that it's something you learn literally in, Studio Art 101, and that was the case here. But after sitting with it, I realized I finally had my light bulb moment of, oh, we need violet undertones, complementary colors. So that's what I did here. I really added in those purples and those violets. Even in this gravel parking lot, I added a lot of this violet undertone just to sort of subtly make the truck and the yellows of the truck pop. You can see the colors in the truck are very centered around a yellow ochre. There's some lemon yellow that I added in, a little cadmium yellow, titanium white, and a little bit of raw umber in the shadows on the truck. But for the most part, it's very much yellow. And it was such an obvious answer to why the truck was not standing out as the focal point and what it needed. But sometimes, even if you feel silly afterwards, you really do just need to give yourself that time, especially if you're working on multiple pieces at once. It can feel so obvious once the light bulb comes on, once the lightning strikes, and you're like, oh, obviously this is what it needed. But I just wanted to share this story because it was such a silly thing for me, and I couldn't believe that I had to take those few weeks just to even recognize it. But I think that this probably happens to all of us. So here you can see I'm adding in a lot more violet over the blue. So I did love the sunset, but you really have to pick and choose in a painting. You can't have every element of the painting as the star of the show. And the truck was clearly the star of the show here. That was the whole point of the commission. Not the sunset, not the sky, even though we love you, sky. So here it was painful at first, but as I saw the truck begin to stand out more and more, it was easy to do. So I did cover up a lot of that sunset that I loved, and it made all the difference in the end. And so I guess the moral of this story is threefold. A, don't be afraid to take your time to step back from a painting and really wait until your next steps are perfectly clear. Secondly, don't forget the basics. Sometimes we get so ahead of ourselves that we forget to stick with the basic steps that we learn in the beginning. Complementary colors. What is going to make that yellow pop is purple. So sometimes it really does just come back to that color wheel. And this is why I love doing those color theory and color wheel exercises, because no matter what stage of artists you're at, it will always help you. And lastly, just don't be afraid to add some more paint when something's not working. You can always take it away again. Thank you so much for watching, and please like and subscribe. I will see you back here next time.